Let's consider another example. In this example, we have a firm and it expects to have the following cash flow for the next 4 years. And in year 1, it will have 10 million as a cash flow. In year 2, it will have 12 million. In year 3, it will have 13 million. And year 4, it will have 14 million cash flow. And beyond this 4th year, the cash flow is expected to grow at 4% forever. And number of shares outstanding equals to 8 million. And cash and short-term investment is 3 million. And debt, there's no debt, that's 0. And weighted average cost of capital is 12%. Given this information, what is the intrinsic value of a stock, right? Remember, intrinsic value of a stock equals to enterprise value plus cash and short-term investment minus debt over number of shares. This is how we compute the intrinsic value of a stock, right? So let's compute it here. So I have all this information here, right? So the growth rate is 4%, cost of capital is 12%, and the cash flow for the next 4 years is given here. Now, to get to this intrinsic value, we have to compute the enterprise value. And remember, enterprise value is the present value of all the future cash flow plus the present value of terminal value, right? So let's compute the terminal value first. And what is the terminal value? Terminal value is the value of the business at the beginning of the constant growth cycle, right? And how do you compute this? Like the constant dividend discount model, you can use that cash flow that you get in year 4, right, times 1 plus the long run growth rate, which is 4%, over the weighted average cost of capital minus the long run growth rate. By doing this, you can compute the terminal value. Once you compute the terminal value, you can compute total cash flows, right? And total cash flow for year 1 to 3 is going to be the same. But 4th year cash flow is going to be not only the cash flow, but also the terminal value, right? So you get the total cash flow. Once you compute these total cash flows, you can compute the enterprise value using Excel's NPV function. Remember, enterprise value is the present value of all its future cash flow and the terminal value. That's why you can say NPV, and the rate is the cost of capital, the discount rate, comma, all the future cash flow. So that gives you the enterprise value, which is 152.31 is the enterprise value. And once you compute the enterprise value, now let's look at how much is cash and short-term investment, which is 3 million, right? Debt, there is no debt, that's why I put 0 here. And number of shares outstanding is 8 million, right? So once you have all this information, you can compute how much is the value of equity, and that is the enterprise value plus the cash and short-term investment minus the debt. That gives us the value of the equity. And once you compute the value of the equity, you can divide this value of equity by the number of shares outstanding, and that gives us the intrinsic value of the stock, and which is 19.41 for this example. Thank you.